was a truth deliberately hidden, a secret interview from 1930 with one of history's most dazzling minds, only now daring to surface? Imagine discovering a conversation buried for nearly a century, where Nikola Tesla, the master of electricity and innovation, unveils not just scientific marvels, but insights into the very fabric of existence, of life beyond what our eyes can perceive. He wasn't just an inventor. He was a visionary who peered beyond the veil into realms that many still fear to contemplate. When asked if he believed in the soul, in a life after this one, his response, uttered with chilling certainty, was not one of belief, but of knowing. What if the world as we see it, solid and real, is but an intricate illusion of density, where matter itself is merely compressed light? Tesla proposed that everything, from the stars to our own thoughts, consists of vibrations, and these vibrations are not just physical phenomena, but the very essence of consciousness, memory, and indeed, the soul. How might our understanding of life shift if we embrace this perspective, not as mere fancy, but as a profound truth waiting for us to discover with open hearts? Do you wish to attract positivity and good vibrations into your life? Comment "believe" below to affirm your desire for good things and to join our collective intention for a brighter path. And please tap like if you're ready to welcome these positive energies. Tesla saw conventional science as a discipline still in its infancy, only just beginning to open its eyes to deeper realities, suggesting that the true illuminating light emerges not from external instruments, but from within each of us. He spoke of observing energy, a life force, departing from the body at the moment of passing, not dissipating into nothingness, not merely becoming heat or sound, but transitioning, retaining its form, as if an essence steps out, whole and complete. Be sure to stay with us, because as our journey unfolds, we'll uncover perspective on these profound mysteries that might truly surprise you. He likened us to lamps. A source of brilliance illuminates through us, and when the lamp eventually goes out, the source, that eternal energy, remains undiminished. It simply does not die. This wasn't just theory for him. He spoke of a field of the soul, an influential presence that could interact with the material world, a testament to something far greater than our current physics can explain. What could this mean for our understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe? The answers may lie in the experiences he meticulously documented, experiences that challenge the very foundations of known science. What were these encounters that gave him such unwavering conviction? Tesla didn't just speculate. He claimed to have personally experienced, studied, and documented phenomena that pointed to a reality far beyond our everyday senses. Imagine the courage it took, in an age less open to such ideas, to explore these frontiers. The first of these startling experiences he recounted was a profound and vivid out-of-body memory. While deeply engrossed in his work with powerful magnetic fields, a realm of energy he understood perhaps better than any other, he suddenly found himself outside his physical form. His body remained there. In the laboratory, an observer might have seen nothing amiss, but his consciousness, his awareness, was elsewhere, traversing the city, observing streets and people with a clarity that defied explanation. He saw details, events unfolding, all of which, he asserted, were later confirmed with meticulous accuracy. Consider the implications. If consciousness can indeed separate from the physical body while life is still present, what does this suggest about its nature? Is it merely a product of the brain, extinguished when the body fails? Or is it something more fundamental, capable of existing independently? This was not presented as a flight of fancy, but as a carefully observed phenomenon, a separation that, if possible during life's course, surely opens a door to its possibility after what we call death. This experience alone invites us to question the limits of our understanding and to remain open to the vast potential of our own awareness. But this was only the beginning of his extraordinary claims. He then spoke of what he termed the electrical memory of objects, the idea that matter itself can hold the imprint of thoughts, emotions, and significant events. Have you ever entered an old house and felt an inexplicable wave of emotion wash over you? Perhaps a sudden chill of anxiety, or conversely, a comforting sense of warmth and peace? Tesla suggested this is not mere imagination at play. Instead, it is the space itself, the very fabric of the environment, remembering and resonating with the energies of what transpired there. He envisioned the universe as a kind of vast cosmic film, meticulously recording every sigh, every joy, every intense moment, leaving an indelible trace not just within human memory, but within the inanimate world around us. This concept transforms every object, every place, into a potential library of a silent, energetic history, waiting for a receptive awareness to sense its story. What if the world around us is far more alive with memory and meaning than we currently perceive? If objects and spaces hold echoes of the past, what other hidden symphonies of existence might Tesla have been attuned to? Beyond the silent memories held within inanimate objects, Tesla perceived an even more profound and subtle dimension of existence, what he poetically termed the music of light. He proposed that every living being, every conscious entity, emits its own unique sound, not a sound audible to the human ear in the conventional sense, but a distinct vibrational signature, a personal symphony that encapsulates its essence. Imagine each soul as a unique melody, a complex harmony of experiences, emotions, and awareness resonating throughout its journey. And what happens when the physical body ceases to function, when the instrument falls silent? According to Tesla's insights, this fundamental sound, this individual music, does not simply vanish into oblivion. It remains a persistent echo in the fabric of the cosmos, a vibration that, under certain conditions, can still be sensed. He spoke of his own attempts to detect this residual resonance, not as mere noise, but as a palpable sensation, an undeniable feeling of a nearby presence, even when no physical person was there. This wasn't a ghost hunt in the traditional sense, but a scientific inquiry into the persistence of conscious energy, an endeavor to perceive the echoes of those who are no longer visible to us. If such profound truths were indeed within reach, why? The journalist of that lost interview dared to ask, was there such a pervasive silence surrounding them? Tesla's reported answer was both somber and illuminating. He suggested that truth, especially a truth that challenges the deepest human fears, can be perceived as dangerous in a world often structured around the dread of mortality. The understanding that life is not extinguished with the body, that consciousness may transition and endure, fundamentally alters our perspective on everything. If we are to continue beyond this life, then our actions here take on a far greater significance, implying a form of accountability not before some external judge, but before the tribunal of our own deepest self, our own conscience. This idea doesn't foster fear, but rather an empowering call to live with greater intention, integrity, and love, knowing that our spiritual journey extends far beyond this single chapter. If individual essences persist as a unique resonance, does this mean we exist in isolation, or are there deeper connections that bind us, even across the veil of what we call death? If individual consciousness persists as a unique vibrational essence, as Tesla suggested, does this mean our spiritual journeys are entirely solitary? Or are there invisible threads that connect us, weaving a tapestry of shared experience and enduring bonds? Tesla's explorations led him to a fourth profound insight: the undeniable connection between souls, a linkage that transcends physical distance and even the boundary of death itself. He recounted a deeply personal and startling incident where he suddenly fainted, overcome by an inexplicable wave of sensations. At the very exact minute, a dear friend has passed away in Europe, thousands of miles away. This wasn't a vague premonition. It was a distinct, physically felt event. Later, when news arrived by letter, the date and time of his friend's passing matched precisely with his own mysterious collapse. Tesla was adamant that such an occurrence could not be dismissed as mere coincidence. Instead, he saw it as compelling evidence of a subtle, yet powerful, energetic connection that links us one to another, a kind of spiritual network operating beyond our common understanding. Consider the comfort and hope this idea offers, that the threads of love, friendship, and deep connection are not so easily severed by what we perceive as the finality of death. If such bonds can resonate across continents, instantaneously conveying such a profound event, then perhaps these connections are more resilient, more fundamental to our nature than we often allow ourselves to believe. They hint at a universe where separation is, in some deeper sense, an illusion. To continue inviting enlightenment and the flow of good things into your journey, comment "Hope" below as a personal affirmation for continued illumination and positive happenings. This concept of interconnectedness extends beyond individual, dramatic events. It suggests a web of life where we are all, in some way, part of a larger whole, influencing and being influenced by one another on levels unseen. It's an invitation to cultivate our connections with greater care, recognizing the potential to extend far beyond the physical realm. If minds and hearts can be linked so profoundly, even by the poignant event of a loved one's departure, what other forms of communication, what other bridges between worlds might be possible? Tesla's next revelation would delve into experiences that many might label as mere dreams, yet he saw them as something far more significant. If invisible threads connect us, as Tesla proposed, could these connections also form bridges for more direct, albeit mysterious, forms of interaction? This leads us to his fifth and perhaps most enigmatic area of exploration: dreams that transcend mere nightly fantasy. He spoke of experiences, both his own and those reported by others, that felt like genuine conversations with individuals who had already passed from this life. These weren't vague premonitions or symbolic tales spun by the subconscious. They had the quality of real, lucid encounters. Sometimes, he noted, the same vivid image or distinct message would appear to different people in different countries on the exact same night. How could such a phenomenon be explained by conventional means? Tesla viewed these synchronous experiences not as coincidence, but as evidence of a bridge, a subtle pathway spanning the divide between our world and what lies beyond. He acknowledged that many would be quick to label such ideas as mysticism, a departure from the tangible world of science. Yet, he firmly contended that these were not matters of faith alone, but phenomena belonging to a science that humanity had simply not yet described or understood. It's a call to broaden our definition of reality, to consider that our current scientific models may not encompass the full spectrum of existence. These profound considerations led the interviewer to ask a question that echoes through the ages. If the soul truly does exist, if death is not an absolute end, then what is the purpose of our journey here in this world with all its joys and sorrows? Tesla's reported response was deeply moving. He suggested we come into this life to learn, to suffer, to love, all at once. He framed our earthly existence not as a punitive prison, but as a school, a sometimes challenging curriculum designed for our growth. We come, he proposed, to remember the truth of who we are, to learn vital lessons, perhaps over many lifetimes, until we ourselves eventually become pure light, fully realized. He found resonance with ancient wisdom, referencing Eastern philosophical texts that speak of death not as cessation of our path, but merely a turn, a transition onto a different road in an eternal journey. What, then, did a man who pondered such profound realities truly feel about the prospect of his own mortality? Given such profound insights into the nature of existence and the continuity of consciousness, how did Nikola Tesla personally view the passage we call death? When asked if he feared it, his reply was a calm and resolute no. He spoke of death not as a terrifying unknown, but as a presence he knew, one whose footsteps he had heard, one that had even come close to taking him on occasion. And what did he feel in those moments of near transition? Not pain, not terror, but an overwhelming sense of peace. He described it as an experience where all fear dissolves, leaving only memories, pure and clear like the first untouched snow. It was a state of profound self-reflection, where one sees everything done and undone, those hurt and those saved. Crucially, he portrayed this not as an external judgment by some distant deity, but as an intimate encounter with a mirror to one's own soul. We answer not to an outside authority, but to ourselves, to the truth of who we are, who we were before this life, and who we are becoming. This perspective transforms the concept of judgment into one of profound personal understanding and integration. Driven by this understanding, Tesla even hinted at his attempts to create a device, an instrument capable of detecting not death itself, but that very moment of transition, the instant consciousness exits its physical housing. He spoke of almost succeeding, of feeling a pulse and rhythm with the universe. Yet, he also alluded to powerful opposition, suggesting that such work was thwarted by those who fear truth, those whose structures of control rely on the populace's fear of the unknown, particularly the fear of death. For if death is not an end, then fear loses much its grip, and a person free from that deep-seated fear is a person who cannot be easily controlled. This is not a call to dwell on suppression, but an invitation to recognize the courage it takes to seek deeper understanding and to embrace the freedom that such knowledge can bring. If this journey of reflection and discovery speaks to your heart, supporting us with a like and subscribing to the channel allows us to continue sharing these inspiring explorations together. Tesla's vision was of humanity awakened to its own eternal nature, living with greater purpose and connection. But what is that ultimate nature? What becomes of that unique drop of consciousness when it returns to the energetic ocean he described? What, then, awaits that unique spark of consciousness, that individual drop of awareness, when it returns to the vast ocean of energy that Tesla envisioned? Does our individuality dissolve, lost in an undifferentiated sea? Tesla's perspective was one of profound hope. He suggested that while you return to this immense source, you remain inherently yourself. Your unique essence, tempered by experience, pain, and memory, persists. You are that same drop, yet somehow purified, cleaner, divested of the masks and pretenses often worn in earthly life. And what of those we have loved, those with whom we shared our deepest connections? Do we meet them again? His answer was a heartfelt yes. If a true bond of love existed, that connection acts as a form of spiritual navigation. Love, in this view, is the very current that connects souls, a force more resilient and enduring than death itself. His words paint a picture of reunion, guided by the heart's unwavering compass. We are eternal, he was quoted as saying, not by body but by vibration. The soul is music, and death is not a pause, it is merely a change in key. This beautiful metaphor reframes our understanding of life's end, not as a cessation, but as a transition to a different movement in the grand symphony of existence. He even spoke of creating a prototype, an echo catcher, designed to detect the energetic imprint of consciousness after death, seeking pure thought, and the strange diagrams that he believed mapped the soul's transition. These weren't just idle musings. They were the earnest explorations of a brilliant mind daring to chart the unseen. This interview that journeyed through shadow for so long, was perhaps intended as a seed, as Tesla himself suggested, that would fall into the minds of those ready to receive it, and there begin to grow. He believed that if you were encountering these words, perhaps it was, in itself, a sign. We are, in his profound view, light that has momentarily forgotten its own luminous nature, and our entire existence, with all its lessons, is a journey of remembrance, a path leading us back home. As we reflect on our shared journey and the profound interconnectedness of all things, comment, we are connected below to affirm this universal truth with our community. And your exploration doesn't have to end here. Click the video now appearing on your screen for another powerful message.